Hello and welcome back once again to Movie Reviews. I saw two movies today. Got off work kind of early and went to see a movie, and turns out that one let out and I still had some time before I had to leave and had nothing better to do, so I went and watched a second movie because I can do that because I work there. So the one that started when I first got off was Philly Brown. I caught the ending part when I was getting ready to clean the theater, and it seemed like it might have been more interesting than I was giving it credit for, so I figured why not. Plus it started earlier than the one I was going to see, which we'll get into later, which was 42. So anyway, Philly Brown, everyone had been describing it as 8 Mile with a Latino girl instead of Eminem. Not quite. It's along the same lines, sort of, but not really. Basically, there's this girl who's a rapper, poet type something. And there's this underground internet radio broadcast or something, so she goes there and they let her get on the microphone and, throw out a rap or one of her poems or whatever. There's a DJ there that spins a beat for her that she can rap to. So she's doing that, so she's kind of popular locally. Her mother is in prison, and she gets a letter from her mother, so she starts going to visit, and her mother gives her lyrics to a song or a poem that she had wrote before she went into prison or after she got into prison or something. And so Philly starts performing that song on the underground radio show. This guy says he's a local producer and wants to, sign her. But he's kind of small time. He's not really that big. So they sign with him. The DJ comes along with her because he kind of likes her. And, he's like, yeah, I'll help you make the music portion of it. You come up with the raps, whatever. So then the producer guy kind of wants to change her image. He's trying to get an image that'll actually sell, to bring out her sexiness or whatever. Which at first the DJ is kind of against, but then it ends up working, and she's getting more local gigs and stuff, getting to play in clubs. Then she ends up meeting with a bigger producer, and he basically offers her some money, and at first, her DJ and her friends are like, maybe we should think this out, there might be other offers, even though we didn't trust this other guy at first, he's been kind of square with us. We can't just dump him like that. And she needs the money to help out her mother, so she bails on everyone else and signs with the big production guy. Big production guy puts out her album, and then turns out that the rap that her mother wrote is apparently copywritten by some guy, which is kind of weird because the rap talks about putting on lipstick and battling other women, which it refers to anything with two tits, which, yeah. So why this guy would be rapping about having tits and putting on lipstick, kind of weird. But, yeah, so turns out it's copywritten, so then the producer guy is trying to find her so he can get his money back, and then this other guy that he has signed to his label is kind of a dumbass and gets him into some trouble that he doesn't really want to be in. He kidnaps the girl and takes her to the office, and he's like, hey, you can't be just kidnapping people. I wanted to talk to her, but it didn't have to go down like this type of thing. So then there's also this backstory going on with her dad, which was a lot more interesting of a story. I would have liked to have seen more of this character's story than what they showed of it. Yeah, basically, he's basically kind of a stereotypical looking Mexican, but he doesn't act that way. He runs a construction business, and he's working under contract to this British lady. And, first she's kind of complaining about how, when I bring prospective clients by, you know, the look of the people you work with, you know, might give them the wrong idea. So then he kind of, you know, lays his buddies off that he started the company with, and one day he's out working and it's hot, so he takes his flannel shirt off. He's just got his tank top on, and she comes by and he can't get his shirt on time, so all his tattoos are showing and stuff. So then she kind of makes a comment about that, you know, how, you know, you can't be looking like that when I bring the people by, you know, you gotta have a shirt on, look proper type of thing. So he finally, after all this of trying to get this big client to help out his business and, you know, help his family, he finally says, you know, I don't think that I'm who you're looking for, you know, I kind of need to be me. And then he finds out that his daughter's in trouble. So he goes back to his friends who he'd fired and says, you know, I need your help. And at first they're kind of like, why should we help you? And then he's like, it's not me, it's my daughter. And they're like, you know, regardless of you being a dick, you're still family type of thing. So turns out that they all used to be like in a gang or something, and I don't know if they'd done time or not. It wasn't really clear on that. But the reason her mother was in jail is because she got into his lifestyle after they met, and she couldn't handle it the way he could, and she got into drugs and stuff, and that's what landed her in prison. So once she was locked up, that's when he realized he had to turn his life around and, you know, take care of his daughters. He finds out where his daughter's at, and he goes after the people. And the producer's like, you know, I don't want any trouble with you guys, but your daughter cost me a lot of money. And she basically gives him another song that she wrote and recorded. And she's like, here, this, you know, this is my next big hit. Put it out. It's all me. You know, it'll easily make back the money that you lost. And she's like, plus, you know, with all the negative publicity, it's still publicity. You couldn't have bought that type of publicity. So, you know, use it for what it is. And he agrees to let it go. And he fires the other guy that originally kidnapped her. So yeah, then she goes and sees her mother. Her mother's kind of getting clean, finally, because her mother had a drug relapse in prison. That's why she needed the money, was to pay off her drug dealer. So yeah, like I said, the story with Philly wasn't all that interesting, but the story with the father actually was. I wish they would have went more into that. Overall, it wasn't a horrible movie. Just kind of this dumb teenage girl drops all her friends to make money, but it's to help out her mother. But even her mother even points out that she doesn't really know what the real world's like. You know, you've been living in this little bubble, and, you know, you gotta realize how things really are and stuff like that. So it's a life lesson movie. As far as the star rating goes, I guess we're gonna go back to the 2.5. I mean, it wasn't bad to where I would make it a 2, but like I said, if it would have been more about the father instead of Philly Brown, then I probably would have liked it a lot better. So yeah, we'll just go with the 2.5. Is it worth checking out? Not really. If you're bored and it comes on cable some night or something, or, you know, if you've run out of everything else in the red box to rent. Hell, if it's on Netflix, check it out. It's worth at least that. But to actually go and buy a ticket, probably not. So yeah, that's Philly Brown. I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to cut this here. But I'll be back in a second to tell you about 42, which was the second movie I saw tonight. So until then, thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the movies.